Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Zoids review, and I am back with one that I have been wanting to do for a long time, but unfortunately this particular specimen is in pretty rough condition, and so I can't proudly display this in my collection as well as I would like. But here is the Elephander. So, a couple things to get out of the way right off the bat with this kit is that this specimen in particular was from my friend Brad, who gave it to me as part of the kits he was trying to offload from his collection. And he got this with a batch of kits from a flea market. So he didn't originally purchase or build this as a kid when it first came out, and neither did I. And so as you can see, there are a lot of issues with the build quality of it, particularly all of the little spurs really everywhere on this thing, especially now that you can see it under the light. So I'll probably go and clean that up, but the more pressing issue is that there's a particular piece that goes on each of the front legs that allows the legs to sort of walk forward with the motorized function, and that piece is missing entirely, and it's the only thing technically missing from this kit, although we'll get to that. But what that results in is it can easily just fall forward like so, because the front legs will just sort of buckle and it will fall over. So if anyone out there has a junk Elephander or is willing to replace exactly those pieces, let me know, because I would love to be able to have a fully intact kit here of the Elephander. The other thing is worth knowing about the Elephander, of course, is that there are two different versions of the Elephander as far as the Zoids continuity is concerned. There's only really one version of the model kit, which we'll get to, but there's two different types of Elephanders in lore. There's the assault version and the command version, and both pieces come with each model kit. So the assault set, which I'll post a picture of, is the base Elephander. It has different ears and a different head and a different trunk, and it is mainly focused on, its cannon it has on the back and the powerful shields on the ears. And then we have this one, which is the command unit, which trades out those pieces. I think it has different trunks as well, but it trades out those pieces for a more greater range for its sensor abilities, and then it has a bunch of weapons in the trunk that are sort of interchangeable. So in the anime and in the video games, we see this manifest as a laser sword inside the trunk there. And it does have these little prongs that kind of come forward like this, which the top and bottom ones are connected, which is pretty cool. But it can kind of come forward like so, and you get the little laser cutter in the trunk there, which made this thing a pretty formidable opponent against the Blitz team and even the Liger Zero Schneider. Those are the main differences there, and I am missing entirely the sheet of pieces for the assault version, for the bog standard version, so I'm only able to display it in this mode, the command mode, which is a little unfortunate. And what makes it even more ironic is I bought some junk Elephander parts off of somebody hoping they would have the piece I was missing, and they didn't. And they also had another uncut sheet of pieces that were the command pieces. So I actually have two sets of these same pieces and none of the assault unit set. So that was a little disappointing. But regardless, it is a pretty cool kit. It's one of the more powerful Empire Zoids, and I was definitely looking forward to being able to talk about it. And in terms of the battle story, the Elephander was first debuted in the year ZAC 2099, and by that point, it was still really powerful. It was about as well armored as the Iron Kong, and certainly a lot more firepower, a lot more mobility. And it did a very good job at resisting the bombardment from the Republic's Gojuluses and the Ultrasaurus, but ultimately that battle was kind of for naught, and the Empire ended up losing that battle. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was the same battle in which the Bloody Death Soarer detonated, which is what caused the Elephanders to be destroyed. I think that's the same battle, but I'm sure someone will correct me in my battle story lore. In terms of the anime, this primarily, again, only shows up in New Century Zero, where it is piloted by Stoller of the Backdraft group, and he has it in this command unit configuration here. And the Elephanders are primarily used by the Backdraft group, and the Blitz team fights them with every single configuration of the Liger Zero cast system, and it's one of the most formidable opponents they go up against, aside from the Berserk Fury. And in one of the particular encounters, they managed to capture a bit in the Liger Zero and force it into a fight against Stolar and his Elephander in an enclosed arena. I think the arena was like entrapped in flames or something crazy like that. It was a really interesting episode. But yeah, this thing was a very formidable and enigmatic opponent during that arc. And they had a very difficult time defeating it. I think what they actually had to resort to doing was using the Schneider to cut off the trunk of the Elephander when they finally went up against it and were able to actually defeat it. But it was a long and arduous process to even get to that point. In terms of the video games, of course, the Elephander and both of its variants appear in the Zoids Saga, Zoids Legacy games, as well as the Zoids Versus games and Zoids Battle Legends. And in that game, we have basically, you know, the way they differentiate the two classes is as the standard Elephander, and then you have the Elephander Stolar Special, which is this type of configuration right here. And you're able to equip a variety of different weapons, including the cannon on the back, which is decent, but not particularly effective compared to some of the other larger Zoids in its type. And of course, you have like the laser trunk and some missiles. There's also another cannon underneath here, which is a really cool looking cannon on the model of it. You guys may have noticed that these side barrels, I guess I'll lift it up and show you the cannon underneath. This cannon down here has a really cool look to it, and I like the way it's positioned. But the little barrels on the side there, you may notice those as the guns I try to attach to the wrists of my Gojo's Giga, because my Gojo's Giga is missing some of its hand pieces. So I just tried to force those on there, and they don't particularly look all that good, but it is what it is. But yeah, in Zoids Battle Legends, this Zoid is not particularly great in those games because it is slow and lacks a lot of pinpoint turning maneuverability, but having the laser trunk is pretty powerful, as you might expect. So any bladed weapon like that is going to be overpowered in Battle Legends. So naturally, this thing does have some pretty strong power output from that. But other than that, there's not really a whole lot else it has going for it. It's big, it's clunky, it's too expensive, and it's a large target. And they're pretty easy to defeat as well, although they do tend to sort of charge forward towards you and try to use their melee attack and their energy sword thing on you as well. But luckily, unlike the Blade Liger's blades and the Rev Raptor's blades, when they try to use that energy blade, they're locked into an animation, and you can easily get away from them pretty easily as far as that goes. Other than that, again, the only two releases of this model kit is the original 1999 NJR version, which of course has mainly comes default with the Assault set, and then it has these pieces as well. And then there's the Hasbro version, which is this one right here, which also includes both pieces. And there was never any other reissues. There is a Elephander Hasbro action figure, which I believe I have. Let me double check. Yeah, so sure enough, I actually do have the action figure Elephander, which unfortunately is just as incomplete, if not more so, than the model kit one. And this one comes to me, once again, this is a donation by my friend Caleb over at Flashing Blades Productions, who sent me a bunch of action figure Zoids to include in reviews. So I'll probably do an entire video on them, or just side-by-side comparison them with their model kit counterparts. He's got a little lever on the back with his trunk attack action there. And even all the little prongs on, if the camera will focus, all the little prongs on the front of the trunk actually move just like on the model kit version, but the top and bottom are not interconnected to each other. They're also not contrasting colors because it's all just simple molded and plastic, but he's missing one of his trunks, he's missing both of his ears, he's missing the spring-loaded missile on the top there. Looks like there's more missiles on the bottom that he's missing. Very different style of gun down there. Missing the tail, like just missing everything. I'm surprised he has the two little guns on the side there, honestly. And of course the cockpit opens up like so, and maybe there'd be a pilot in there, maybe it'd be a little Stolar, but he's gone, of course. And you can see the different style of cockpit there. This is more in line with the Assault version, whereas this is more in line with the Command version, which, like I mentioned before, it also opens up at the top like so. Just enough room for the horns to kind of intersect each other, and this one does actually have the little pilot in there. So Yeah, unfortunately, that's about it. The Elephander sure does get the short end of the stick, as unfortunate as that is. I really feel bad if this is your favorite Zoid. I'm definitely not doing it any justice here with these two in their current condition, but I'd like to have one that's in better shape, and maybe someday I will, or at least I'll clean up this one and takes maybe some swaps to it and clean off all the dirt and dust and clip off all the little nubs better, and maybe one day I'll get those connective pieces for the legs so it will stand up on its own a little bit better. And maybe one day we'll get an Elephander HMM. I think a lot of people would like to see that. I think it would be a great Zoid to have an HMM. And with the Koenig Wolf and the Red Alert and everything on the way, the fact that they made the Liger Zero X, I think it's not unlikely to consider that they would do an Elephander HMM, but only time will tell. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.